Hello, and welcome back to That's English. Is that jelly you're eating, Samantha?
Yes, I love strawberry jelly. It reminds me of birthday parties when I was little. You see, our documentary today is about the relationship between food and memory.
We meet Naz, a chef and restaurant owner, or restaurateur.
And he's going to make his favourite childhood meal, egg curry.
People's relationship with food can be complex. At its most basic, food provides the nutrients we need to live and grow. It gives us some emotional comfort too. Moreover, food has the power to evoke some of our earliest and dearest memories. What we eat as children can have a big impact on our tastes in later life. Naz is a British chef and restaurateur of Bangladeshi origins and owner of Ruby, one of the top Indian restaurants in the UK. He explains how the food of his past influences what he cooks today.
When I left school, I've started working in an Indian restaurant as a kitchen porter. And seeing the dishes and the spices, and I realised, oh, my mother used to cook like that. So I said to myself, one day I want to own my own restaurant, and I want to add the dishes into my menu that my mother used to cook at home, which I've got now in my restaurant.
Like many chefs, Naz was heavily influenced by his family's cooking during his childhood.
We have a big family in Bangladesh. It's like extended family, my mother's side, my father's side, and we all get together, just enjoy a feast, really. It's absolutely amazing. I still remember them days.
He tells us about one of his favourite childhood meals.
My favourite dish as a child was egg curry. Like, we used to go to fields and play football, and coming back home and smell, oh, it was absolutely amazing. That's why my favourite dish was egg curry. I used to love egg. I still do.
The smell and taste of food is so powerful that it can evoke memories as far back as when you were 6 years old. Today, Naz is trying to recapture one of those memories.
Today I'm going to be cooking a chicken dish, my mother's chicken dish, with egg. I'm going to add egg to it. The spices are garlic, ginger, coriander, and green chilies. I'm just going to put the lid on, leave it for 10 minutes.
Professor Charles Spence tells us why food raises such clear memories.
The smell and taste are very closely linked to memory, more so than I think than the other senses, hearing, vision, and touch. Some chefs that we work with are trying to deliberately play with nostalgia in the restaurant setting, and one of the chefs we work with would say, you know, tell me the decade you're born in, and then it'll have some sort of flavour or food aroma that is confident can take you back to your childhood, and you can do it much more effectively through smell, flavours, than perhaps you can by just playing a piece of music or showing somebody a picture.
More than 75% of what we taste actually comes from our sense of smell. And so more than our tongue, it is our nose that stirs our memories. That's why a perfume can make you remember one particular person every time you smell it.
In terms of the kinds of memories that foods can trigger, that's going to be primarily driven by the aroma of foods. The taste of food is really just sweet, sour, salty and bitter. So it's really the aroma that does most of the work in sort of triggering memories.
Delicious.
Naz is putting the finishing touches on his favourite childhood meal.
There you have my chicken curry with egg, special egg. Let's go and serve it.
There's no doubt that food is a time machine, transporting you back years and even decades. Sometimes this happens through a simple flavour. Other times it's the meal itself and the setting in which you eat it. Either way, food plays an important role in creating the memories that will eventually become the stories of our life. Food for thought, indeed.
You could almost smell the spices in that curry, couldn't you?
I didn't realise that our sense of smell is so closely related to memories.
More than 75% of what we taste actually comes from our sense of smell. And so more than our tongue, it is our nose that stirs our memories. That's why a perfume can make you remember one particular person every time you smell it.
So, what smells stir or bring back memories for you, Kieran?
The smell of chlorine reminds me of swimming lessons at school, which I hated.
Now, it's time to hear our international friends talking about historical memory.
We asked them, what events in your country's history are usually commemorated and how?
The event that's commemorated most in Jamaica is Independence Day, which was 1962, August the 6th, 1962. And so many other events are caught up in that because all of those events led to independence.
On February the 6th every year, we celebrate the Treaty of Waitangi. This was a big treaty between the Maoris and the invading British, and it signalled peace and created a constitution for all time. We celebrate with parties nationally, everybody has a day off work, and we have canoe races in all the main cities.
Every year on the 25th of January we celebrate Burns Day, where we celebrate the life of the Scottish poet Robert Burns, and we have Scottish food, Scottish dancing and Scottish poetry.
Every July 1st we commemorate Canada's birthday, which is when we became an independent nation in 1867. So we celebrate that with fireworks and picnics or barbecues, things like this.
England commemorates Remembrance Day. This is the 11th of November. It was the date when World War I ended. We observed 2 minutes silence to remember our soldiers and the lives lost.
To a lesser extent, now it's Victory Day in Rhode Island. Is the only state in the Union left celebrating the victory over Japan in 1945. And I think it's actually a quite important holiday for people to remember because of the human and economic cost of the Second World War.
Several speakers mentioned Independence Day celebrations.
And the English and Americans commemorate the end of the First and Second World Wars.
The Scottish celebration of the poet Robbie Burns sounds fun, with food and dancing.
It does. Now it's time for That's the USA. In this module, our presenter Alex will be showing us around the East Coast. He starts his tour in the Big Apple, New York.
New York, my favourite city.
Hello and welcome to That's the USA. I'm Alex, and together we'll be traveling around the East Coast of the United States, exploring some of the historic landmarks, popular attractions, and unique customs and culture. We start our amazing adventure in the booming metropolis of New York City. New York City, or the Big Apple as it's often called, is one of the most influential and recognizable cities in the world. It's been featured in so many films and TV shows that most people feel that they know the city even if they've never been there. New York has a population of roughly 8.5 million people and attracts more than 50 million visitors a year. The city is made up of 5 boroughs. The Bronx and Brooklyn are connected to Manhattan via several iconic bridges. This is the Brooklyn Bridge, which crosses the East River. Today, I'm in Manhattan, which is often claimed to be the cultural and economic center of the United States. This is Times Square. With 330,000 visitors daily, this is one of the world's busiest pedestrian intersections. I'm here with Melissa, who's visiting with her family. Melissa, what do you think are the best things to do in New York City?
There are many fun things to do in New York City. My top favorites are visiting Times Square, going to baseball games, climbing the Statue of Liberty, and going to see Broadway musicals.
Do you think you'll see any theater while you're here?
I'm a dance teacher, so We love seeing theater. We saw An American in Paris, and every time we come to New York, we see Jersey Boys.
What memories do you think you and your family will take away when you leave New York City?
Memories are such an important part of any trip. My favorite memories are spending time with my family, visiting Ellis Island and seeing my family's heritage, and all of the beautiful sights to see.
This is Wall Street in the heart of the financial district.
Charging Bull, or the Wall Street Bull, is a bronze statue by artist Arturo Di Monaco. It celebrates the ambitious spirit of America and New York in particular. It's a symbol of virility, courage, and a booming market. But it's not all business and fast living in New York City. I'm at the 9/11 Memorial and Museum. The Reflecting Absence Memorial here honors the people who died when the World Trade Center was attacked on September 11, 2001. These pools sit within the footprints of the Twin Towers. The names of every person who died are inscribed on these bronze panels. I'm here with Tom at the memorial. Tom, what are your thoughts on visiting these two memorial pools?
The events of 9/11, I think, touched our whole country and a lot of the world in a way that changed a lot of people's lives.
Why is it important for us to reflect and remember the events that happened here?
Well, I think, first of all, it makes us realize how important and treasured and vulnerable sometimes our freedom is. And the fact that our country was attacked the way it was is something that, you know, it's 13, 14 years since it happened. For some people, it can seem like a long time ago, but it's really not. It's a short time ago, and it will impact our country for generations.
Tom, I really appreciate your time. One World Trade Center, also known as the Freedom Tower, has recently been completed and has once again changed Manhattan's skyline. The Freedom Tower is a striking building and a magnificent symbol of determination, hope, and liberty.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our day in New York. See you next time when we take a look at one of this city's most remarkable neighborhoods, Harlem.
Did you enjoy that little tour of the Big Apple?
Yes, the interview at the Reflecting Absence Memorial was very moving, and the new Freedom Tower is very impressive.
What are your favourite things to do in New York?
Well, I love going to Central Park and watching all the people, and I always get tickets for a Broadway musical. I usually go to the MoMA, the Modern Art Museum, and then for a walk down Fifth Avenue to see all the shops.
Oh, sorry, Samantha, but our time is up, I'm afraid.
But I haven't finished yet. I like to cross the bridge to Brooklyn and go to my favourite restaurant, and then I'm going to go shopping.
Bye-bye.
And bye. And then I'll go do some more shopping.